rider, Neil Mackenzie, 10 wins this year, but he does not like the wet weather. We saw him struggle a bit at Brands. By the same token, the man behind him, number 5, Sean Emmett, excelled at Brands Hatch with a slick rear tyre. Are we about to see a repeat performance of Emmett's superb wet weather technique? Race leader on the last lap, Ian Simpson, the 1994 Superbike champion, has gone very well, picked up the threads on that Ducati over halfway through the season and is getting better and better. A massive twitch from the rear end, a flap of the knees, as Simpson characteristically does, and he gets the checkered flag. Win number 1 in 1997 in the Superbike series for Simpson. Rutter, Reimer and McPherson 3rd and 4th. Mackenzie was 7th with Walker ahead of him, but what a ride by Ian Simpson.
Ian, where did you find that grip?
Oh, just the Michelin tyres were absolutely unbelievable there. I've never had tyres that worked like that in the rain before, but it was really good. Really enjoyed that.
Still 64 points, Mackenzie's lead in the championship, but Michael Rutter's 2nd place moves him past John Reynolds into 3rd. McPherson has overtaken Reimer. Moody and Sean Emmett is 8th on 146. But there it is, Ian Simpson, a young, delighted Scotsman with win number 1 in the Superbike Championship. Round 18, Mackenzie on pole, Rutter, Walker, McPherson. The conditions here still very wet indeed. Moody, Emmett, Reimer and Ian Simpson, who won the race, would you believe, from 8th fastest qualifying. Is he going to do it again? We shall see. Still a lot of water on the track and something of a dilemma on tyre choice. A lot of the riders this time have gone for intermediate rubber. Mackenzie, I think, though, Steve, out on a full wet front.
Yeah, Mackenzie went for the conservative choice. He chose the wet front because it does stay very damp under the trees, and he really just wants to pick up some points this weekend. He's already admitted to not liking the conditions, but this man in front, Michael Rutter, has already stretched an advantage over number 3, Terry Reimer, and a huge battle on here for 3rd place. It's Simpson, number 22, but no, Mackenzie's on the inside as they go into the very slow park corner at the end of the straight. Now it is, they tip it in. Simpson, number 22, gets in there in 3rd place. Right behind him is Mackenzie, number 1. He's the man with the wet front tyre. So we might see him make a few moves on the early part of this race, but as it dries out, that front tyre will cause him problems. I'm quite sure of that.
What Mackenzie, number 1, needs to do, of course, is put the championship out of reach of Chris Walker, his teammate number 2, the man in the middle of your picture there, but Walker is hanging on to his coattails. Sean Emmett, number 5, on the Ducati, going with him, and Emmett is climbing all over the back of Walker. Number 22, Simpson, first race winner, charging away. The 2 Yamaha men, the younger one of the two, the number 2 rider, Chris Walker, a bit braver, I think. He's a former motocrosser. He loves this mountain section. Up come the front wheels as they go towards the slippery part of the circuit, into Hall Bends, into the woodland, under the trees. Fallen leaves can cause all sorts of problems here, and it's far from dry on this part of the circuit. Mackenzie, number 1, leading Walker. Ahead of them, Simpson. Ahead of them, Terry Reimer. Ahead of them was Terry Reimer. Terry Reimer has put it down at Barn Corner and is struggling. The adrenaline charging through his veins now as he struggles to pick the bike up, but it's to no avail. Mackenzie will have seen that. He'll have thought, softly, softly, there's no way I want to end up in the bales or indeed in the tyres. Mackenzie then stalking Ian Simpson, number 22. The Yamaha here, Steve, a little bit quicker, but is he going to be able to use it?
Well, that's exactly right, Barry, because you can't use this 160 brake horsepower in these conditions, so tiptoeing your way around, there's no question about it that Neil Mackenzie is not liking these conditions. He has this wet front tyre, and you can start to see there immediately a drying line, so I think we're going to start to see him going backwards at this point. Simpson is the man on the move, but he's got a lot of work to do because Michael Rutter, number 4, has already got something like a 5-second advantage.
Neil Mackenzie, number 1, right on the back end of Ian Simpson. With him, Chris Walker. They're now coming into the bottom of the mountain section. Mackenzie's making a move. He knows it's damp. Once they get round the left-hander, he's going to attack Ian Simpson. This is where his superior front tyre might pay off through the woodland section. Mackenzie making hay, if you'll pardon the expression, where the sun doesn't shine, because he's now going into Hall Bends and trying to use that good rubber to stretch the advantage over Simpson, which he does. Simpson now dropping back into the clutch. Look how greasy it is as they round. This is where Terry Reimer fell off. Mackenzie will know that, and he is oh so cautious. There's a dry line on the inside, and even his Yamaha move, the back end twitch, it's so slippery, Steve.
Well, Neil Mackenzie will actually be trying to find the wet lines at this point, I think, because of that front tyre. It's a heavily treaded front tyre. If it overheats, it just like melts the rubber, and so he'll really have some problems as the race goes on. So Neil Mackenzie will be looking for the wet parts of the circuit down the straights to cool that front tyre. And he really does have to try and get away at this early stage in the race, because as the race goes on, the rear tyre he has is an intermediate. That will be okay, but it's the front tyre that's going to cause him problems. Looking now, number 22, Simpson in third spot, being chased by Walker. Walker looks down the inside as they go into Park Corner. Will he be able to get through and sneak through? No, he doesn't. He drops back in behind Simpson, number 22. This is the point when they start accelerating from third gear into fourth gear, a short shift into fifth, using the torque of the engine at this point, really now getting some drive through Chris Curve before they come to the left-handed part, which is the gooseneck. Here they come, in through the gooseneck now. And they start accelerating down the hill before they come to the horrible left-handed Mansfield corner. You can see the water running across the circuit there. It's still very damp at this point. Accelerating now, up into third gear, fourth gear. Front wheel lifts there from Simpson. Walker on the inside as they come down towards the mountain. Now we go into the damp part. Walker goes around the outside just like Neil Mackenzie had done to Simpson on the lap before. So Walker now is the man up into third.
Over the hill, Chris Walker. Ian Simpson, 22 with him, pops a little wheelie on the Ducati. Mackenzie is going away now in pursuit of the race leader. Neil Mackenzie stretching the gap away from teammate Chris Walker. Look how damp it is, and there looming large in the background is Sean Emmett, number 5, Terry Reimer. A disconsolate Terry Reimer walking away. His season is going from bad to worse. What does he have to do to get it right? He stepped off on a number of occasions. He came off in the Suzuka 8-hour race, flown there by Kawasaki to contest it. Steve, on board with Emmett.
We're on board now, yes, with Sean Emmett as we're coming down the fast part of the circuit, 150 miles an hour, just getting 155 miles an hour as they crest the rise here. Hard on the brakes at this point. Now that's Ian Simpson in front of us, so they're into Park Corner, third gear corner, starting to accelerate. You'll hear that engine revs go up. You can see the rev counter on the left-hand side of your screen. Into Chris Curve, fourth gear. Shortly shifting into fifth just before they brake for the gooseneck. So he's closing in a little bit on the brakes into the gooseneck, flicking it left as they go down the hill here now.
Good pictures from our mobile cameraman, Sean Emmett, in fourth.
Terry, barn corner caught you out in the damp.
Yeah, we had intermediates on, and I was just trying to hold on to Michael Rutter, and he was flying, you know. I turned in the same speed as what he did, but the tyres just went up from underneath me. They're just one of them things, I guess.
That's a despairing expression from Terry Reimer, and I'm not surprised. McPherson, number 13, his teammate, is running strongly. He's been a very, very solid performer. But look at Ian Simpson now. The two Ducatis. Emmett, number 5, right in the wheel tracks of Simpson. There won't be that much difference. John Hackett prepares the engine on Emmett's bike. And that's the only other Ducati riding in the red team, of course, that Simpson is on. Formerly third in the championship, John Reynolds spectating here. I wonder what's going through his mind, Steve.
He will be bitterly disappointed seeing his third place in the championship gradually disappear, and the people that are going to be passing. And look at that, there's Neil Mackenzie. Neil Mackenzie has really gone up the slip road at Mansfield Corner. He gingerly turned it around the grass and has rejoined the race, but that certainly cost him a lot of positions. He's now joining the race in something like 6th or 7th position.
Very, very difficult. That illustrates just how brave these riders have to be. Once they have the commitment to turn it in, they have to turn it in. If they don't, they have no alternative but to go straight on. These guys aren't going straight on. They're flicking it left, right. They're all three together now. Simpson, his battle with Emmett has pushed him up on the back end of number 2, the Yamaha rider, Chris Walker. And Walker now softly, softly around the inside at Barn and away down the start-finish straight. The sun is now out. There is an evident dry line. These riders will be making the most of it on their intermediate tyres. Neil Mackenzie, on the other hand, with that wet weather front, will be looking for all the wet patches to keep the tyre cool. Simpson heeling it over. They're getting closer and closer. We know how quickly Ian Simpson can go because he's a race winner here at Cadwell, and he is on a charge. He's looking at the back end of Chris Walker. The Yamaha has absolutely nothing over the Ducati in terms of straight line speed, and up the inside goes Ian Simpson. A beautiful passing move. Ian Simpson then at Park, fighting back Walker. Simpson went wide, almost into the clutches of number 5, Sean Emmett, and he's back there again. He's got to work all over again as down the gooseneck he goes. Simpson looking right, away on the brakes goes Walker. Flicks it right, flicks it left. The next bend ahead of them, the left-hander of Mansfield. Is Simpson going to have it? Oh, dear me! Walker's Yamaha incredibly out of shape, and Simpson will have seen that. He's pushing the 25-year-old Nottingham man to the outer limits of traction on those intermediate tyres. The damp treacherous conditions here at Cadwell, catching everybody out. Over the mountain they go. Emmett, Simpson, Ducati, ahead of them a Yamaha, closing rapidly a Kawasaki, number 13, Ian McPherson, through Hall Bends they go, a convoy in the wet, a very, very slippy convoy in the wet, and round they go at Barn one more time. Chris Walker, number 2, the leading Yamaha rider, because teammate McKenzie, there's a crash, that's McKenzie, that's the championship leader. His helmet, the bike's on, there's a lot of steam and smoke coming from it. Into the tyre wall went McKenzie. He paid the price for something, Steve. What was that?
Well, we saw a few laps earlier that McKenzie had problems, and I think it was that wet front tyre. The track was drying out, and there's no question about it. The race is being stopped. The red flags are out. You'll see the riders put their hands up in a minute because the race is being stopped. And there we have number 22, Ian Simpson, and there Sean Emmett raises his hand. The race has been stopped, probably because of this accident. This is Barn Corner, exactly where Terry Reimer fell off. We saw Neil McKenzie's bike sliding in there completely upside down, and there he is underneath the bike. So that's a major problem for Neil McKenzie, but he's up. He looks to be okay. We'll have to wait to see the extent of his injuries.
Michael Rutter then in front at the stoppage. The race will be restarted, having been stopped after 6 laps. McPherson, McKenzie, Jeffries, but Michael Rutter was charging away. The crowd are thrilling to this one. This has been spectacular. There's been a lot of waiting around here while the track was swept free of water, swept free of gravel and grit. But now it's almost clear. Clear enough for Chris Walker, the race leader, although Ian McPherson there's David Jeffries, the leading privateer rider in the race, going superbly well and proving that he's a good bet for 1998. If somebody has a free Superbike ride, give it to David Jeffries. Checkered flag is out. McPherson stayed ahead of Emmett, but there's your Part 2 race winner, Chris Walker, but not, I suspect, enough on aggregate to take the overall win. There, race stringer number 7, the new 1997 privateer champion. He cannot be beaten in the remaining races. Stringer then, the privateer champ.